What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with another Tottenham update for you guys, where we talk about all the Tottenham news surrounding the transfers over the last few days. It's all very much hotting up on the transfer front when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur. To talk about everything going on with Spurs over the last few 24 hours, we have the one and only Brian Daigle in the house. How are we doing, Brian?
We're doing very, very good, Steve. I hope you're good and everyone that watches is all well and good.
Well, look, we'll see how you're feeling in the next minute when I read the news. You see, he's got that smile now. We'll see how long he's got the smile on. Before we get into it, please do check out WeAreTottenhamTV.com. On our website, we have our daily articles and we have the merchandise if you want to support the channel and get a lovely t-shirt as well. Please do go check out the website. But without further ado, let's go out and talk about Dragusin. Now, obviously, all the talk has been about Dragusin on the verge of joining Tottenham. Just a, bit of bartering between Spurs and Genoa to get the deal over the line. There was rumours of a Napoli hijack, and now there's rumours of a Bayern hijack. According to GS Bro, Bayern are interested in hijacking the Dragusin deal. Florian Plettenberg is reporting that Dragusin is on Bayern's list, and now Tutto Mercato in Italy are claiming that Bayern Munich are nearing a move for Dragusin. They are very close to sealing a move. That's quite kind of worrying. However, if we're to calm everyone down a bit and just to get the more reliable sources out of the way as well, Dan Kilpatrick is claiming Dragusin has made it clear that he wants to move to the Premier League. Simon Jones is reporting that Dragusin is hoping to join Spurs this weekend, with talks ongoing today between Tottenham and Genoa over a deal. Alfredo Padula out in Italy reports that Dragusin's priority is Tottenham, who could soon present an offer of 30 million euros to Genoa. And Damasio is saying that today could be a very important day for the Dragusin transfer. Tottenham continued to lead the race for Dragusin despite interest from other teams like Napoli and Bayern. Spurs want to close the deal as soon as possible to avoid inroads being made by other interested parties. I love how they report like Tottenham hope to close the deal soon. It's like, well, it's in your control. You have all the power here to close this deal if you're haggling over a few million. But clearly, there are definitely some more interested players, aren't there, coming for in this deal now, and Napoli and potentially Bayern Munich now coming into the frame. Do you believe that these links are genuine, or is it all agent talk to push Tottenham for the higher bid?
Well, first of all, there were rumours as well that AC Milan have entered the fray as well, but I think this is just that. I think is agent talk. Another Italian club. Bayern Munich is a concern, isn't it? I mean, no matter what happens, if you're in for a player, no matter who you are, and then Bayern Munich comes in, automatically you get concerned because of the vast size of them and their stature in world football.
And just to add on to that, Brian, very quickly, we do know Bayern in for a centre-back. We do know that for sure, because they want Dier. So it does kind of make sense they might be interested in maybe a younger one.
Exactly. What I will say with Bayern as well, until Tutto Mercato tweeted that, a lot of it was breaking that he had made Bayern's list, which is, I'm sure he's made quite a lot of people's lists. So I think we're all getting a little bit nervous, but obviously it's materialising more and more that this could be more than a list. This could be a genuine target now. It's a huge concern. How many times have we heard Tottenham are leading the race only for it to be gazumped because someone comes and snatches it from us? I think due to another bit of news that I'm sure we'll talk about, with someone leaving, I think this is a lot further down the line than it's. I actually think that exit is actually the green light that this is coming to a head and he will be a Spurs player. But this needs to be wrapped up quick and announced, because the way I'm looking at it is the quicker he's in and it's signed, sealed, delivered, the quicker he can train with the lads. The sooner he trains with the lads, the more ready he will be to feature in Manchester United should Ange Postecoglou want to use him. And that's the main thing where the concern is for me now. Just get him in, get it done, and get him training with the lads and acclimatised into to London life and playing for Spurs.
Yeah, and it's obviously a massive game for Tottenham away at Man United. If we want to continue to put pressure in the upper echelons of the Premier League, we know we need to go there. And I think it'll be a really good indication of what we're really fighting for, what kind of result we do get up at Man United. If we can have a Dragusin there in the centre-back role, maybe even partnering a Van de Ven, away at Man United, that can go a long way to making sure that we're not as open and defensively basically defensively vulnerable as we have been over the last few weeks, where it's been so clear to see, as well as Emerson and Ben Davies have done in recent games, it's very clear to see that's been our biggest weakness, and that's been the area of the pitch we've been most vulnerable and struggled the most. So I really hope this Dragusin deal can get done as soon as possible. I do think it will. I think all the reliable people are still saying that it's Tottenham's deal at the moment, and that and that Tottenham are in control of the deal. Obviously, it seems like Bayern Munich are coming in late in the hour to maybe see if they can hijack it. But I think if you're Dragusin, I still think Tottenham's the right move right now. I think we're a really exciting project. He'll get the game time here. We'll help with his development. And he's seen firsthand with Van de Ven, a young centre-back coming in, and he's performing extremely well. At Bayern Munich, the pressure's going to be on immediately. Is he even going to get the game time? They've got a lot of centre-backs there already. I know they want another one, but for a young defender like Dragusin, I think Tottenham's the better project right now for someone like him. And I think it makes sense for him to come to us.
Yep. Listen, I think the fact that he said he wants Tottenham is a huge part of this. But sometimes I look at this and say, if the players come out and said he really wants Tottenham, and then you see the club haggling around, but obviously he's a number one target, how does that look on the player thinking, right, I've stated I want to come there, my preferred choice, yet still there's this issue with other clubs about. But like I said, I think it's the best move for him. He wants it. Of course, we're going to be biased and say it's the best move, but it just needs to get wrapped up. I see it being the right move for him. Like you said, Bayern Munich, huge expectations. Napoli, well, they've won the league this year, first time in ages. Is it a flash in the pan? But let's hope this still just gets wrapped up later today, tomorrow at the very latest.
Absolutely. Talking about a deal that definitely does look set to get wrapped up is the Timo Werner deal. Dan Kilpatrick confirming Werner is set to complete a medical and be in the squad for Sunday's game against Man United. Dan Kilpatrick confirmed as well that Man United also expressed an interest in Werner, but he was won over during a call with Postecoglou, who has convinced him that he can revitalise his career. Man United and Aston Villa were understood to be among the clubs who were sounded out about Werner's availability, but talks with Tottenham accelerated on Friday, and that was according to Simon Jones. And the Leipzig technical director, Mario Gomez, has been talking about the deal, and he said he wants to play regularly. That's what Tottenham have conveyed to us, that he will be playing regularly, and he wants a good shot at getting to the Euros with Germany. So all very positive stuff. Obviously, this one is definitely going to get over the line. We did get the here we go from Timo Werner. But as well, what another positive of the deal is, what Simon Jones was saying there, if Aston Villa were interested in him. I actually think the way Aston Villa play, he would really suit them. They've got the likes of Dier and Leon Bailey in those wide areas / in behind. And I think especially when they play two up top, a Watkins and Werner strike partnership would have been quite deadly. So potentially taking him away from a rival, definitely a positive thing in my book. And but in terms of where we see, if Werner was to line up on Sunday, do you reckon he lines up on the left if he does start?
I do. I mean, first of all, going on to what you said, Simeon, about getting for rivals, if you look at it, when he was at Chelsea and playing under the managers that didn't play his style of football, he really did lose his confidence. I think that would have happened at United. They just don't know what they are or what they're doing. Villa, I agree, he could have been ideal for them, but I think he's ideal for Tottenham if we can get him back. And just like the thing you've got to love about it is Ange Postecoglou, we hear about famously when Maddison talks about it, when he said sign for me or don't sign for me, I promise you see a different Tottenham, when he seems to be able to convince players, and these are big time players he's able to convince. And people talk about his lack of being able to do it in the big time before we signed Postecoglou. He seems to have a way with players. And I think him on the left could be a great shout for him to start, and I think he actually starts and scores against United. I really do, which would be wonderful to keep quiet the people that have been doubting it, or at least at the beginning. I think he could play a pivotal role for us in that left wing.
Yeah, I definitely am getting excited about a lot of these reports saying that Postecoglou was the one who personally called Werner and convinced him and really told him, look, I can revitalise your career. And I was talking to a Leipzig fan yesterday, and I was saying to him, I was kind of theorising with him about Timo Werner and thinking that whether him being at Leipzig would give him that struggle because it was his big move which he failed, and that's like a constant reminder of that failure. So maybe Postecoglou can really get into his mentality and get into his psyche about, look, this is the player we know you are. When in your first spell at Leipzig, you were one of the most sought after attackers in Europe. A few years ago, you've still got that ability, you've still got that pace. I believe in your quality, and I think I can really make you a success here. And as well, you look at the projects of Tottenham and Man United. I know Man United, obviously a massive club and whatnot, and a lot of players are persuaded by that. But surely he's looking at the two projects right now and the way that both teams are playing. And if he goes to Man United, he's going to get very little service. He's going to pretty much only be playing on the counter attack as well. He's not going to be seeing as much of the ball. There's going to be instant pressure as well because Man United don't have forwards right now who are scoring. They're all struggling to impact games. And there's going to be pressure on him to be their saviour, basically. Whereas he comes to Tottenham, pressure's a bit off. We're playing a free-flowing type of football where he's definitely going to be getting chances to prove people wrong. And I think there's a better environment at Tottenham right now than Man United, so I think that makes sense.
Yeah, it does, mate. And another thing I think I want to add to this is I looked a lot at Chelsea fan reaction to this move, and there's a lot of Chelsea fans I've seen that actually really liked him as a player and wish it had worked out. Said, listen, it was the wrong system, it was the wrong style of football to get the best out of him. But a lot of Chelsea fans were disappointed to see him leave. So, I mean, that speaks volumes of what he did do. I think, like you said, at United, his talents will go wasted. And he was electric under Nagelsmann, playing a similar style of football to what Ange does. And I think we get the best out of him. I really do.
There is one reservation I do have about the deal, apart from obviously the obvious, which is he's out of form and stuff like that.
Yep.
The one real reservation about the deal is that I think we are signing him to play on the left. I think we're signing him as a left winger, and I've always seen his best position as a central striker. I think that is his best position. That's where you get the best out of him. I think that was where we saw the best of him when he was in his first spell at Leipzig, in a striking position where he was running in behind and getting in and scoring goals for fun. I think he can play on the left, but I don't think he's as effective there. And if we're looking to sign someone to play on the left, I don't know if he's the guy we should be going for. That's my concern. Unless, obviously, Ange can get something else out of him that I haven't seen. I don't think he's the most creative winger. I think, obviously, he's got pace. He can take people on. But when it comes to, getting crosses in the box, picking someone out, decision-making, that can be an element sometimes that isn't his strong suit. I think when he's running in behind and he doesn't have to think too much, just put it beyond the keeper and, plays on instinct. That's why I see him at his best. So... Yep. But I'm not to say that we can't even play him central. When Son comes back, you put Son on the left, you can put him up front, Brennan on the right. But I feel like in the short term, while Son's away, I do think he's been brought in to play on the left, and I do have a bit of a reservation about that.
Well, so the way I've been looking at it is it now gives us three options on the left. Out of Richarlison, Son, and the incoming Werner, that's three players that can play both on the left and central. So if one isn't doing the job or having much luck in the centre or via the left, there's the option to rotate and they'll both be fluid in both departments, or in both positions, should I say. And maybe when we need to break that line and use his pace, we'll put him in the centre. And say, right, just exploit that pace, because if you see him in the centre, you're going to drop a little bit deeper, aren't you? And it's just going to suit him to the ground. I think he's going to play a bit of both. I think he's to play a bit of both, but I think he starts United on the left because of Richarlison.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. So that's the only real reservation I have about the deal. But I am, in general, super excited about the arrival of Timo Werner, and just to see what he can do. And you know what actually genuinely excites me, just to be honest, it's purely like not football related, but like just having a deal that has come out of nowhere and we had no rumors about. Like, it's very rare. Yeah. It's very rare in this day and age. So it could have been anyone, but that would excite me. Just the fact that we just got a signing out of nowhere, which is brilliant.
Agreed.
Next up, we will be talking about Eric Dier. Dan Kilpatrick is saying that Tottenham centre-back Eric Dier is hopeful of completing a dream move to Bayern Munich this week after agreeing personal terms with the Bundesliga champions. Dier is out of contract this summer and free to talk to overseas clubs, although Bayern would need to agree a fee with Tottenham to sign the 29-year-old this month. Dier is one of a few options for Bayern to strengthen their defence and is hoping for a positive update from the Bavarians. Obviously, considering he did agree personal terms a few days ago, the fact that there hasn't been any real movement over the last few days might be concerning Dier. And as well, there's been rumours about Bayern looking at other options. I hope for Eric that this move does go his way, and hopefully he can move there, and it'll be a great move for Eric. But is there any sort of concern that it's gone, I wouldn't say gone quiet, but hasn't really progressed in the last few days about maybe getting this one over the line?
I think this is a slow burner. This one might drag. As much as people want it done now, and as much as we just want it over and dealt with, whether it's there or Lisbon or whatever, I think this gets done. I just think Bayern in no rush to get this done. It's an easy deal to do. They know he wants to come. It's not going to be breaking the bank. This can be done at any point. So I think this deal does get done. It's just I don't think it's going to be imminent. I think this will drag on.
Yeah, from Bayern's point of view, they could wait till the end of the window, can't they?
Exactly.
And just like, so look, and we're going to give you like 1 million, and you're going to accept it because you're not going to get anything else otherwise. I was very.
What happened with us with Lloris, with Leon? You remember we bid XYZ amount. He came into the training ground, and then because his contract was coming up, it was like, right, we're lowering the offer, deal with it, or Bayern Munich have absolutely no rush to get this done.
And I was very surprised when I heard about a potential, 4 million fee. I was like, why would they do that? I don't think we're going to get any serious. I think even 4 million would be a great fee in the circumstances. I really would be surprised if we get that. All right, moving on. There's even more talk about Loic Bade from Sevilla, which is quite kind of interesting. Reports out in Spain from Vamos Mi Sevilla, which is a Sevilla publication. They're reporting that Tottenham are expected to make a bid for Loic Bade in the next few hours. The centre-back has a €55 million release clause, but a bid worth around €35 million would be enough to convince Sevilla to sell. Fernando Serrano, a journalist out in Sevilla, says Sevilla are concerned by Tottenham's interest in Bade. The club would have to listen to bids worth 35 million or more, as it would help improve their financial situation, and Spurs are considered favourites to sign the centre-back. Now, we spoke about this yesterday, about this potential. I really didn't think there was anything to it, but it's interesting that there are more reports coming out in Spain, and they do seem to be quite fairly significant. I don't know how reliable these people are, but when there's multiple sources claiming the same thing, then you have to take a bit of notice and say, okay, maybe something is actually going on here. I don't know if this is a consequence of the Dragusin deal potentially stalling, and maybe we're looking at this guy Bade, for a bit of a higher price. But maybe we feel like if Dragusin doesn't come off, he might be a better fit. But with Sevilla struggling financially and they're open to offers, I mean, Bade's done very well since moving there. Is this all talked for you?
So first of all, they've said the release fee is 55. They'll accept offers of 35. So if there is a bid from Spurs, expect it to be around 20 million. And way short is what we do. We're favourites for every defender on the planet, I think, at the moment. We're favourites for everything. We're going to have a massive squad. I don't know too much about this player. Obviously, we spoke about him briefly yesterday, and I said that I think this is a smokescreen for someone like Tosin or another defender plus Dragusin. But obviously, with Bayern coming into the fray now, was Dragusin being a smokescreen for this one? the life of the transfer window is never dull, is it? Whether you're a Spurs fan or any fan. I can't really comment on if I think he'd be a good addition or not, because I don't know too much about him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a player who's been like a very regular fixture for Sevilla since he signed. He's started 12 games this season. He joined in January last season and started 19 games. So was a very regular fixture for Sevilla last season. He's 23 years old. He's a French player. Quite tall, 6'3". Reportedly quite good on the ball when it comes to playing out the back and things like that. Quite decent aerially as well. I can see from the stats defensively. I mean, his passing, I can see, doesn't seem to be anything of note, but maybe that's a consequence of how Sevilla play rather than him. I mean, for me, if Tottenham, I don't think Spurs would pay more for Bade rather than the less amount for Dragusin if they didn't think Bade was a better player, if you know what I mean. Otherwise, they would have just gone and paid the money for Dragusin. So I'm not going to sit here and be angry if Dragusin falls through and we get this guy instead. I'd still be very excited. I'll have to do a deeper dive into him to see what kind of player we're getting. But I mean, it's very interesting to hear these reports coming out from Spain, and maybe there is something to them. Maybe in the next few hours we will hear something more about it if the Dragusin deal doesn't seem to go over the line.
Well, Sim, I'm just about to send you something on WhatsApp. I don't know if you're going to want to talk about it, but they're the same people that are talking about Dragusin and Bayern. There's just been something else come. But yeah, we're with this defender. Like I said, we need to bring in centre backs. We need to make sure we get this done. And if Dragusin does fall flat on his face, we need to get another. It still applies. We need a centre back in before Man U, don't we? And if this one does go to bed, then we have to make a move quickly.
Well, what you have just sent me, it is the Tutto Mercato web again. So, again, it's not the most reliable source out in Italy, but they are saying that Bayern Munich have overtaken everyone for Dragusin and are close to agreement with Genoa. The offer, 24 million euros plus 6 million in bonuses, verbal agreement with Bayern and the player, 2 million euros per season for 4 years. So, I mean, again, no smoke without fire. But it's interesting because we heard yesterday that Genoa rejected a bid from Tottenham of 25 million plus bonuses. So for them accepting 24 million plus bonuses from Bayern does seem a bit odd. But
unless the bonuses were better from Bayern than what we were offering, it wasn't really disclosed, our bonuses, was it?
That's a good point. So maybe there is truth to this, and there is truth to the Bade deal as well. Maybe there is more going to come out. Maybe there's some look. It's always a roller coaster with Tottenham, isn't it? So look, very interesting stuff coming out of Italy. Again, Tutto Mercato web though. Maybe they're getting fed information from agents to push certain narratives to kind of scare Tottenham into upping their bid. We don't know for sure, but this Bayern Munich move is definitely starting to pick up some pace, isn't it? When it comes to the reports and also the Bade deal, multiple reports now coming out from Spain saying Tottenham could be set to actually bid for him. So maybe there is actually truth to all of this, which is very, very interesting, all developing right now. But look, any more concrete news we will bring to you as and when it comes. And next up, we're going to be talking about Jarrad Brathwaite. Simon Jones says that Real Madrid, Man United and Tottenham are interested in signing Everton centre-back Jarrad Brathwaite, although it's more likely to be in the summer. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of his. I think he's been absolutely stellar for Everton this season. I think he's been brilliant, so calm on the ball for such a young age, so mature. But with Everton in a relegation battle, I know they got their FFP issues, so maybe that could play in our favour. But with them, in a dogfight relegation-wise, I don't see it being easy to get Brathwaite out of Everton right now, and I don't see Levy being willing to pay massively over the odds to get him out of there.
I would say, like you, Simeon, I would love this guy at Tottenham. If we could only sign one player in January, it could be within reason, like a player that we are interested in. I would, if we just signed Branthwaite, I would be over the moon doing cartwheels. I think this guy is going right to the very, 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 very top. I think once this guy gets into the England team, he ain't getting out. I think this guy is going to be one of the best defenders we have had since Terry and Ferdinand. I think he's that good.
Wow.
I would do anything for this guy. I honestly, I think this guy, a star is born. And as you know, I like to keep an eye on youth players coming through. And what this guy has done in 4 months in a struggling Everton team, I love everything about him. I think I would love him at Tottenham Hotspur. Love him at Tottenham. I would drop every defender we're going for and put all our eggs in one basket to get him. I love him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of his as well, but to get him in January, we're talking how much? We're talking,
Oh,
50,
ridiculous.
60, 70 million, especially getting him from a Premier League club, especially one who's, in a relegation dogfight. I do see it being a bit of a struggle to get him out of there, but I do
It's
think
got
there are
summer
maybe more
written all over
available.
it, Tim.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more of
Summer
a
written
summer
all
move.
over it.
Yeah.
But what it doesn't stop Tottenham doing is starting the talks now, getting things ready so when the summer comes along, we're not playing catch up. We're advanced. This is what Lang and McKenzie and Paratici are here to do. I'm hoping there's a lot of weight behind this, and we try and do everything we can because this guy, I think, is the next big thing in English defenders.
Next up is Simon Jones again saying that Tottenham have been watching Leeds United's Archie Gray and Nottingham Forest Morgan Gibbs White with the summer window in mind. So that's we spoke about Morgan Gibbs White, didn't we? Yesterday or a few days ago. Again, I don't think it's one happening anytime soon. Definitely not this window. Again, I mean, maybe it's one we'll visit in the summer. But I'll be interested to see where we see him fitting in. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's having a great season. I think he can play a number of positions. But it's one, maybe when we're in Europe next season, when we need, a thicker squad, that's where he comes into play.
Yeah. Well, this guy I will wax lyrical about whenever I get the chance. I think he's brilliant. I'd love him. I think he's better than we're being constantly linked with Gallagher and Phillips. I think Gibbs White is better than the both of them and has a higher ceiling. Can you imagine, and this is just imagine we have a summer where we're back in the Champions League, we need to work on homegrown and go get Branthwaite and Gibbs White. That will be like, there you go. That's real intent. That's real desire. Deals like Gibbs White and Branthwaite there's just at Tottenham Hotspur and at most teams, there is no way this gets done in January.
Yeah,
it doesn't get done. But this, again, we've got in this scouting network, those are two players. If we were serious, we're looking for homegrown. Those are two players that will certainly boost any team.
Yeah, definitely. And last but not least, there is a completed deal today. Ashley Phillips has joined Plymouth Argyle on a loan deal for the remainder of the season. Look, good move for him. Obviously, the Championship side currently sitting 18th in the Championship. So good for him to get more experience and get more minutes under his belt. Do you reckon it's a move that we would sanction unless we were very confident of a centre-back joining imminently?
I would really hope so. I would really, really hope so. But we have been left short before, i.e. like we did in the summer with a centre-back. I think this has been allowed because a defender's coming in. I don't think we'd be that stupid, especially in centre-back, because the grief that would come back. I'm actually delighted for Ashley Phillips. Was a huge fan when we signed him. Absolutely huge fan of his. I even put a tweet out saying the year's 2029 and Ashley Phillips is the captain of Tottenham. I think he's that good. But rather than playing the under-23s or wherever where Spurs are excelling, we need to give these boys, like we've done with Alfie. Alfie is shining and thriving because of a loan move and playing regular football. And he hasn't. A guy, when I said this on my Twitter, someone responded by the name of James actually said, I follow Plymouth a lot, go to watch them a fair bit, and they look to play good football. Ex-England youth manager there now too, so I'm assuming he knows his strengths. So this could be a very wise deal, and I'm happy that they're going to these sort of teams where they are going to get regular first-team football and get minutes to show what they can do and improve and develop. On Ashley Phillips' side and the experience side and development of him, I think this is a phenomenal piece of business for Ashley personally. I just hope and pray this does mean one out, one comes in, because we're now another centre-back down, and you'd be looking now with Davies out. Phillips may have been in contention. All right, Van der Ven, we don't know how ready he is. We were extremely short of defenders before the window opened. Davies is now out. Dier could be leaving. And Phillips has gone. So we're even shorter than how we started this window.
Yeah, it's a good point. I feel like from Phillips' point of view, it's easy to forget that we signed him last season based off the back of 8 appearances for Blackburn. So if he can get that more experience, that more a good level as well. Championship is not an easy league, especially for an 18-year-old. If he can get, start regularly there, get some regular game time and get more minutes under his belt, more experience, that's only going to stand him in good stead going into next season, where I don't know if he'll be in the squad or maybe another loan deal, but we'll have a better judge of where he's at next season with more minutes under his belt. Because 8 games in the Championship, as much as obviously we've been convinced that this guy has a bright future, it's hard to know if he's ready to play right now just off the back of that. So I think more game time in a competitive league will be good.
Let me just add to that as well. You've got to remember, he is further, I can't remember what age range he's playing for England, but he is the captain. So he's to be the captain of your national team, regardless of what age limit you are, you've got to have some credentials. You've got to have some great leadership attributes. I think a lot of this player, funnily enough, I've actually got a Blackburn Rovers fan here in Toronto that's a friend of friend of my wife's friend. And he spoke very highly about when he was developing at Blackburn and what they saw of him. Obviously, he didn't get all the game time, but I thought it was a great move from Tottenham getting him in. And I think getting him experience is what we have to do for these players that we see as the future. But we just have to hope that this means a defender, whether it be Dragusin, whether it be Bade, whether it be whoever it may be, they need to be here for United. They have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one little bit of news just to round off the video, and that is surrounding Timo Werner. Ali Gold has now confirmed that Werner is set to arrive at the club this evening to complete his move to Tottenham. So that is, I think maybe tomorrow we could definitely be getting an announcement on that. So it looks like he's going to be completing all his, medicals and contract signings this evening, and with a view of that getting announced imminently. So let me know in the comment section below anything we discussed today. I want to thank Brian Daigle yet again for coming on the show and giving up his time. If you want to go and see more of Brian Daigle, go check out Tottenham on Tour. The link will be in the title of this video for you to see more of Brian Daigle and his opinions. But thank you again for joining us for another video. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.
Come on you Spurs.